Okay, so I thought I'd make a little video on some stuff with the pelvis, mainly the tuck and tilt, and how we can practice creating more stability in our spine in relationship to the pelvis and awareness and tone in the core. So the pelvis here, I have some bones. Everybody has these sticky outy bones. They tell us a little bit where we are in space, and the options for compensation patterns would be that one side could be more hiked up. So it would be in this plane, right? In the plane that you see me here, like this plane. I could have a shift like that, rotation up, shortening of a waistline. And then I could also have with that a little bit of a tendency to rotate possibly. So there's this other plane that there we can have rotation in the pelvis for compensation. And then there's the other planes, and I'm going to go sideways for that. And there could be on one side the pelvis is a little bit more tucked under. That means this is longer. Or it's more stuck out like that, so that this is more tilted. We call this a tilt. Yeah, and that point would go down in relationship to the back, and then this would be about neutral, and then this is more of a tuck. And a lot of us have multiple of those. And I wanted to show you how you can work with that and even out some compensation patterns. And what you need is something like a block or a roller that you can place your pelvis on. And if you have any pain and any other things like that, what's really nice actually is a folded up blanket too. And I have a block, and this is not a typical yoga block. This is only 3 inches high. Yeah. So a typical yoga block, I'm going to get one real quick, would be about this height, and that's 4 inches. And the what we're trying to do is just a little bit easier to access. Also, if you're a little bit shorter waisted, if you have less height. And I say height because we're going to place our pelvis on this. And I'm going to show you from a side view what we're looking for. Yeah. So I'm going to bring my block here on the floor. And I'm going to put myself here, and I'm going to just lay down the length of my back, and I'm going to bring my feet together all the way to have my ankles and big toe mounts touch. I look at my knees that they're about the same height, and then I step my heels out and my toes in line with my heels. And then from here, I'm going to see if I can tuck my pelvis, and we said that this rolling, right? I'm kind of rounding my back, tucking my pelvis, and I'm going to bring it on the block so that my sacrum is in center of the block. And here now my sticky outy bones are here, and I'm just making sure that they are sort of centered, and I feel centered with my sacrum on the block. A good trick for you would be to have your thumbs on the lower ribs and maybe the ring finger or pinky finger on your hip points. And what that does, it creates this shape of a square or a rectangle. And that tells me where my body parts are in space in relationship to each other. So the exercise will be to find a tuck. And what a tuck means is that the tailbone lengthens and the pubic bone rotates up towards the ceiling. And when I do that and I tuck, my ribs will tuck too. And what the ribs will do is they go towards the floor, and the belly, the skin of the belly goes underneath the ribs, and my head lengthens towards the head end of the mat if you have a mat, or it just gets longer without me tucking my chin. So I want to just see my hip points move together into that tuck. And then from here, I want to make sure that my ribs stay the same and that I can then go with my pelvis the opposite direction a little bit back into my neutral where my block is flat. Because what might have happened when you're tucking, and that's totally fine, is that when you pressure more the edge of the block that's towards your head, it might tip up on that edge, and that is fine. It'll help you with what we're doing. So you're just going to try and keep that tuck, and you're going to keep the core drawing in. And for now, we're going to do this in a tuck. And all I'm going to be concerned about is the stability through my torso as I'm trying to decompress one foot off the floor. So can I do that without having anything shift up here? And then I'm going to bring my foot back down. And with my hands, I can feel if there's a shift at all. Inhale. And on the exhale, the belly lays down and I'm scooping in. I'm drawing the skin of the belly towards my spine. And when I bring my other foot off the floor, just by an inch, I want to feel that nothing is shifting anywhere, or that my pelvis is twisting, or that my pelvis is hiking. So what could happen is shortening the waistline, right? And so I want to avoid all that, and my hands give me feedback. And so what you would want to do is finding that tuck and a few times going neutral and tucking. Neutral without taking the ribs back with you, and then tucking, and then neutral, and then tucking. And you can see my ribs don't really go so much with the pelvis. And once I have this established and I feel into that, I really want to now feel that my ribs go down. It's like a seesaw. The ribs stay down, the leg comes up. And then the ribs stay down as the leg goes down. So again, seesaw is ribs down and then the other leg can come up. And you're interested to make this more and more even so that you feel the same tone in the tissue of the belly, that you feel the same position of the hip points. And they might not quite be there yet, but you're trying. A lot of us have one hip point a little bit more rotated almost into a tilt and the other one in a tuck. So you want to make them even and tuck that together, and no matter which leg comes up or down, ideally you're staying in that even tuck, and you can go back and forth eventually, just like walking. And so what you're feeling here, you want to translate into your walk. You want to feel a little bit that tone. In the walking, and we're in a different position where we're upright in gravity, we're not really tucking too much. It's enough to feel tone in the lower belly, like you're scooping the belly in so that your pubic bone here comes a little bit up, and that opens nicely the back of the pelvis. It relaxes your glutes, also in standing ideally, and then you can act upon the extremities with your psoas muscle as opposed to the short hip flexors. And we're getting out of the obliques muscles and all these compensations. And then you could just come back down and then let your legs slide out, and you could just say, what does my body feel like? Ideally, it feels pretty relaxed after you do that. So the option would be do an assessment before laying down. You're going to do this on the block and then do an assessment after, right? And I hope you enjoy this little awareness practice.